Hi, thank you so much for taking the time today and joining me in this podcast episode, Keritan. I really appreciate it. So, how have you been today?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's pretty good on the 4th of July for the day. So it's a perfect day to have a podcast because shoot, whenever I got started on personal development and stuff like that, I realized that let's just say 20 or 30 years ago, we would not be able to do stuff like this.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's true. Like different parts of the world, you have to be like in a face to face, and then I have to fly to you, or you have to come fly to me on this
yep.
video, and that'll be like a really difficult, like doing the scale we're doing right now. And
I
yeah,
remember
it's easy.
like when I was a kid, it was an episode on it was a Beyblade cartoon episode on TV.
Yeah,
And there was video chatting with each other. So I was like 8 at the time, like, man, that's so cool. It would be cool if we could do something like that one day. And now we do it all the time without even thinking about it.
yeah,
That to me just lets me know that like there's no limit to what we can achieve. There's no like everything is possible.
mm,
Besides instant teleportation, but
yeah. Yeah, we have like an interesting story to talk about today about yourself, about your business, how you get into the business, the mindset behind it, and everything, the struggle you have to go through. So before we get into that, like I know you're in the coaching and consulting businesses. What made you get into like a coaching and consulting businesses? Is there something you really wanted to do with your life, like you knew, or like accidentally happened, and now you're enjoying and love doing it?
I got into this by accident. So, because this business right here, JMS Consulting Firm, is pretty much for helping business owners scaling their business using credit. So
Right.
learning how to use credit properly and get business credit and business funding because that's a big fad that's going on now. And whenever I got into it, which was 2020, I didn't realize that it was just the beginning of what it is going on now, like what's trending on social media. Because with me, first, I got into real estate.
Yeah.
I'm real huge in real estate investing. So I started that in 2018. And when I got started, I had spent like $30,000 and maxed out my credit cards and took a loan on my 401k. And I had really just started working my job like a year before that.
Right.
So I had to save a lot just to do that. But did that. And whenever I did that, one of the companies they had partnered with, they was pitching moving your debt from the personal side over to the business. That way it don't affect you no more.
Right.
So I was introduced to that concept back in 2018, and I went out, learned how to do some things on my own, then paid for some more things. And then from there, I learned how to do it, figured out what's right, what's not right. So what's truthful, what's not truthful, what's
Mhm.
BS and what's not. And I put a pause on that and I started focusing on real estate for like the next 2 years. So that was in 2018 and then all up to 2020. So mid 2020, when 20 started 2020 to probably like October, November is just when real estate
Yeah.
was taking off because of COVID for me.
Yeah.
I was able to work from home, which I still do right now. And in the Facebook group, because I had joined another a program to help out with real estate investing. And in that Facebook group, a lot of other investors started talking about business credit then. So I was like, okay, I already know how to do this.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and let you all know what rabbit hole you will go down,
Hmm.
what trials and tribulations you'll face, and the issues. That way you don't have to spend a lot of money and waste a lot of time like I did. Then I made a post on my personal Facebook page about all the credit cards that I have. And they had got like a crap ton of comments like, whoa, okay, I'm on to something here. Then
Yeah.
I had made more money quicker doing that than I had did in the last 2 years in real estate. So like, oh, this is a no-brainer. So let me focus on this real quick, but I can automate that side and then get back into real estate. And I haven't been able to do that yet.
Yeah, that's an interesting story you had. Like, so basically, you started the business in like during the pandemic, right? The coaching and consulting.
I did, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
sure did.
A lot of people made the transition, like doing whatever they actually doing to moving into coaching and consulting during the pandemic. A lot of people like finding their uh why and their passion, right? So you found yourself like you more enjoying coaching and consulting comparing to what you used to do in a real estate business?
Now, so whenever I named this consulting a consulting firm, mainly for business credit, because
Yeah.
really it's credit repair. I do credit repair along with business credit. So I'm not truly consulting. It's still like a service-based business.
Yeah.
But I named it this way. That way, it'll be good for the credit standpoint because a lot of banking industries don't like high risk industries. So anything dealing with credit repair or real estate is high risk. So I just named it this. That way, it can be able to get approved for higher lines of credit.
Yeah.
And I say that to say, I have my days where I like it or I hate it. Same thing like with real estate too. What I truly enjoy doing is coding, which is my job.
Yeah.
But I hate a job.
Yeah. We all have like some kind of things, isn't it? Like someday we are like top of the world, and then comes down to like one of those days like you don't really actually do the things even though you love it.
Yeah.
It comes in the relationship, anything in our life, even though you love some kind of sports you're playing, but if the game is not going the way you want it to go, like we hating ourselves like doing the
Man, that's
game,
so true.
isn't it? Yeah.
So true. You just brought back some memories school about play sports.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like whenever you win, because my coach said that. I remember when my coach was telling me that. They're like, yeah, it sucks because you're losing all the time. But if you win, then it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, when you start losing, then you're gonna realize like how much love you have for the game, or like is there something you really passionate about, or just is the hype that because of the you winning track and you keep on winning, and then you're thinking like this is my end goal, but are you actually liking the process or not? So many people like on a day to day, like professional wise, like we struggle in order to find our right thing, like even the bad day, like how we can make it like improvement. This is the main thing like we're going to talk about, which is mindset. You running a businesses for a long time as well, like I'm doing the same. There is a lot of mindset involved in terms of like business wise. Without like a right mindset, like you can't direct your ship in the right direction and get to their destination. So tell us a little bit about the mindset like you need to have in order to like build a successful business, or even though you're passionate about something.
And business is like the ultimate self-development tool.
Yeah.
So business is gonna test you in every way, shape, and form. It's gonna, because for me, I have 5 concepts of like things that I want to work on personally to become a better person. Because it starts first. I got this from a crap ton of self-development books that I had read over like the last 3 years or so. So first it starts spiritually. Want to become better spiritually, become better mentally, physically, and financially, of course.
Yeah.
So those are like the 4 key areas. And then all that's going to also help into becoming better as a better man, boyfriend, a significant other, etc.
Yeah.
That way I can truly accomplish my goals. And because I made a post on my Facebook, I think this was like 3 years ago, and I said like starting a business will push you in all those areas. You are only as good. So your business is pretty much a reflection of you and your mindset. Because I take ownership of a lot of things. And that's something that got me started down this path too, where it was in, let's see, December 2016, because that's when I had graduated college. 2 weeks after I had graduated, my cousin had passed away, and he was real close to me. So whenever he had passed, so I had 3 emotional triggers and strikes that kind of got me down on this path already. That was the first one, because I regretted not going to go see him, and I just pushed him off. And then I can't talk to him no more. So that struck me deep. And then that was in December 2016, and his funeral was the day I had to go into work, my first day of work. So my first day of work was the day of his funeral, so I missed the funeral. So I'm like, okay, that let me know that I really hate, and I use hate a lot. I hate when people like waste my time, because I realized at that key point in time, that time is very precious and short. So that was like strike 1. And then strike two and strike three kind of interchangeable. It was with my W-2 pretty much.
Right.
I found out pretty quickly that I hated the job and that the job don't really care about you because it was a year into it. I had to have surgery to repair my hernia. And while I was out on short-term disability,
Yeah.
they had moved my office to another place without telling me. And then the person that told me was just another coworker, not my managers. So like, oh, okay, I hate this place now.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm gonna say that was strike three. Strike two is actually whenever the girl I was dating then, she had broke up with me whenever I was planning on marrying her. So that happened. But instead of me getting mad at the world, I took
Is that
complete
happened like in the same
ownership.
time, like during the same year, 2016?
Yep. No,
Yeah.
2017. All this happened in 2017.
Okay. So
Yep.
2017, yeah.
All this happened in 2017. So whenever all that happened, um, I took complete ownership of everything. I was already getting up early in the morning. I was already studying the habits of wealthy
Mhm.
people, trying to mimic them to figure out how I can retire early. Now I just make a lot of money. That way I can
Yeah.
live be financially free. Um, did that, woke up early in the morning. I read more books in that year than I did my entire life up to that point. And let me see, I eventually stumbled across Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm looking at my book stacks over here. I got like 70 books. But I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was a trigger for
Mhm.
everything. I read everything about managing money, like the millionaire next door, maxing out your 401k, maxing out your Roth IRA, they being frugal,
Yeah.
cutting down on expenses, do like 70-30 split between your assets and bonds or equities and bonds. Did all that stuff, but whenever I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, that spoke to my soul. I'm like, yes, this is me. This is what I want. This is what I
Mhm.
need. So that pretty much all those personal issues that I had went through got me on the path of where I'm at now with business. And I thought that once that maybe let's say I haven't hit this point yet, but make enough money that I want to hit the goal that I want to reach, I'll be happy. But realize you'll pretty much never be happy. Just
Yeah.
because if you hit a monetary goal, you have to fall in love with the process. Once you fall in love with the process, then and you still appreciate the small things while you're going through the process, you'll eventually find happiness, y'all.
Yeah. It's not like the end destination, right? It's in the process.
Yeah.
Now, we think about like when you're gonna achieve certain level of income or like buying the house, buying the car, then we're gonna achieve the success. But when you actually get there, then you realize it's just like an event and just takes like a few days. Probably the new house you moved in, probably a couple of months or a year. Then after that, it's like a usual thing for you to like appreciating. Same with the income. Like when you're making like a six figure, then it's like next step will be like a making to seven figure. It never ends. So like in terms of like having like that kind of mindset, we have to train our brain in terms of like get to the kind of process oriented mindset rather than like success and focusing on like what is too far ahead from you and enjoy the day-to-day activity. So how important do you think for having a mindset is personal development is important thing, being like again the mindset? Because I know like you are read like Rich Dad Poor Dad book, which is like a big aspect of your like a personal development side. Like a normal human being or like a small business owners, like they do invest themselves into like reading a book or like listening to someone on a YouTube or listening to some kind of podcast, like a learn from each other. How important do you think is like self improvement is like a necessary for in order to have better mindset?
Yeah, it is. It's huge because I was lucky to have to go through those issues first before I even start a business.
Mm,
Because once your mindset is in a certain place, you'll be able to handle all the issues that you will go through in a business. So
yeah,
instead of like complaining about everything, you take complete ownership, doing like I did a miracle morning routine from the Savers method, like that. All those things is very important because the first thing anybody should work on, in my opinion, is your mindset. Because once your
yeah,
mindset is where it needs to be, then you'll be able to accomplish any issues that you eventually go through. It was, I had listened to another podcast before, And this guy, he made a very solid point where he said that most entrepreneurs or real estate investors,
Yeah.
they'll be in the business, they'll start the business first while they're working on changing their mindset. And that is very, very difficult. So what he did though, but he worked on his mindset before he started the business, and that actually helped catapult him. I
Right.
did too, but I think there's still a lot of things that needs to be going into, like changing my mindset and just improving upon everything that I've done and taking more action to where you be able to see the fruits of the
Mm.
labor.
Yeah. Yeah. So what type of like a morning routine did you follow? Like a miracle morning? Is there
Yeah.
something you do right now as well?
Now COVID messed all that up, so I'm trying to get back into that morning routine.
Yeah.
Cause
Did they
yeah,
actually help though? Did they actually help you?
yeah, it did because it was able for me to plan my days right. And I was able to feel more accomplished and give time to myself before I give it to the world.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people they work harder at their jobs than they do on themselves. I used to work hard on myself. Now I would just work hard, period. But with the Miracle Morning, it's written by Hal Elrod and David Osborne, and they framed the Savers method. So Saver stands for silence, A
Hmm.
is affirmations, V is visualization, say V, E is exercise, R is reading, and he just said S is scribing again. And then I also merged this with some of Jim Quick's, the mindset coach guy.
Yeah.
Jim, not mindset, the mind coach. Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that.
Mind coach. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here's some of his methods. Um, he recommended for you, like first day in the morning, first hour of the day, do not touch your cell phone.
Hmm.
Don't touch your cell phone at all, because then you're going to be immediately distracted by the external stigmatism of the world.
Yeah.
So because I have my phone on do not disturb for the first hour of the day. So that, brush your teeth with the opposite hand, get some brain food, either like some brain, put some like not hot oil. What's the oil? I can't forget. I forgot the oil. Coconut oil, or some
Right.
type of oil into the coffee in order to like do the ketogenic thing. That'll
Yeah.
give you like a boost for your brain. Then like some more brain healthy foods too. Make a nice smoothie, things of that nature. Exercise for a little bit and write in the journal.
Mhm.
So that's some of the things Jim Quick talked about, and I incorporated that into the Miracle Morning. So just writing in my journal, because I have a journal, I write my journal for like 10 minutes, immediately go to the gym. And I also sit down. For me, my affirmations, and I tackle my affirmations, visualizations, and scribing like all in one setting, because everybody's morning routine is not the same.
Yeah.
It could be different, like to figure out what it is that you have to accomplish. And whenever I was heavy into it,
Yeah. Go on. So,
and then as soon as the my workout will be over, I go back, shower, and I
yeah.
eat again. So that was my morning routine, and I think I was forced to do that because I had to go to my job, go
Mhm.
on site to my job. So I created time that I didn't have.
Yeah.
Now have a lot of time. No, I'm not using it to the best of my abilities, but if I get back into that routine and be more thoughtful where I'm wasting time, like I was like 2 years ago, should be okay. I have no idea if I answered the question.
Yeah, and that works fine. Like, so what would you give anyone starting a business or like startup phase? Can you give some kind of advice in order to like they can success on the business?
Yes, do not compare your success to somebody else's success.
Mm.
Everybody's situation is different. Because what you'll see on the internet, especially like in real estate, I used to get mad at this a lot. It'll be
Right.
somebody that just started like a month into the business and they already closed the deal, made some money. Where for me, it took me 2 years. It
Yeah.
took me 2 years. I spent like tens of thousands of dollars, wasted hundreds and thousands of hours, sleepless nights, crying myself to sleep, all of that just to close a single deal.
Mm.
So But for me, like that other person probably had a ton of resources and all these other things. I didn't have none of that because I literally just moved. Cause I'm from Mississippi, so whenever I had graduated college in Mississippi, I moved from there. Then like the next month, I flew out to Texas and just started building a new network. And like a year later, cause I didn't associate with nobody because I want to be super super frugal.
Right.
That way I can pay off all my debt and didn't have a nest egg somewhat and start the investment journey. So I didn't network with nobody until I invested into that program. And that's when I started building my relationships from there.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody got different situations, everybody got different things going on, different networks, financially, intellectually, strengths, weaknesses. So you have to figure that out yourself. And the best way that I remember to figure that out is when I went to an Eric Thomas seminar. I didn't even get into this entire story because the way like I got started in real estate is like it's to me at that point like a sign from God. The amount of crazy stuff that had happened. But they say it's two things I remember vividly. Your gift is what comes easy to you and it's harder to most. So whatever it says, because they saying out there, it's like you got to figure out what your gift is. So that's the easiest way for you to find your gift is that. And another thing is your passion will leave you broke.
Right.
And it's a book called So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. It's like one of my favorite books of all time. In that book, he talked about that too. But it's about you have to figure out and become really good at something first. And then from there, you can focus on your passion.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Really helpful for our audiences. So we are running out of the time for the podcast. So what would be like a best platform anyone to reach out to you and work with you and learn more about you and your company?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at my name, just Keritan, KeritanS. LinkedIn as well, in the business JMS consulting firm on the same platforms.
Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, thank you so much for Keritan coming to and sharing your valuable knowledge with our audience. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day and rest of the year and you get great success.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate it.
No problem. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to this episode, guys. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You know how to find Keritan. Go check out his website and social media platform if you want to work with him or learn more about his stuff. And until then, I'll talk to you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.